Well, hello everyone. I just want to give a quick update in this short video. Let me share my screen with you because we got through with the first two quizzes. But before I do that, let's have this discussion on the quizzes. Really, the quizzes are designed to be a learning aid. In fact, I think you have 16 quizzes that you'll be taking throughout this particular course, which is 15% of your total grade, but yet each individual quiz is a little bit less than 1%. So I don't want anyone to feel defeated or beat themselves up or get discouraged if they did not make the grade if they were disappointed in that particular quiz 1 or quiz 2 grade. It is a learning aid. That's what it's designed for. But I am going through doing an analysis of it to see which ones were missed, just to make sure there's nothing wrong with the test question or giving as much credit as much as I possibly can for your responses. And some of your responses are going to be fill in the blank. And when you have those type of quizzes, you will not see the final score until I go in and grade manually. And neither will you be able to go back and look at the correct answers until the quiz closes. And the quizzes are set currently to close either on Saturday or Sunday. So you may not be able to see the correct answer until Monday of the next week. But stay focused on the quizzes. I'm not trying to negate not focusing on it, but I just don't want anyone to get overly disappointed in their performance at this point. Very beginning of the quizzes. So stay focused, print them out, continue to study hard, and use the PowerPoints as you make your notes as you review the quizzes. Okay, so let's talk about a few more things here. Let me share my screen, just so you'll know. So I've created this Zoom meeting link reservations, as well as communications, a form so that you can communicate with me as to what your team preference is. You can certainly do that via email as well. In either case, I'll be looking for it. I will come here and I will keep this document here updated, so that you'll know exactly when the Zoom link is going to be unavailable. Like as an example, as of today, I have it reserved Tuesday from 8 to 10 p.m. And again, I have to apologize to 3M team because I knocked them out of their opportunity on Saturday. I just overlooked that I had a business orientation meeting, new student orientation meeting that we were conducting, and this is what we're doing here. So you can see where the 3M team has scheduled it for Tuesdays from 7 to 8, and PepsiCo team has reserved it from Wednesdays from 8 to 9 p.m. And again, send me an invitation. I'll be glad to join any and all of your team meetings and be glad to provide any oversight or assistance that I can. And what we've also done, we have created down in week number 7. As soon as I can get to week number 7. In week number 7, we also have team presentation schedule that has been developed. And right now we have all teams on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I apologize for not getting there quicker. Here it is. We have Nucor on Monday at 8, the Monday, August 14th, which is in week 7. PepsiCo Tuesday at 7 p.m., 3 m on Wednesday, 7 p.m. And Harley-Davidson team, we're still waiting on your feedback to see which day. And I would recommend earlier rather than later, because I will, once we use the presentations, we will use that feedback in order to develop the final discussion questions as well as the final exam. And therein lies where your biggest contribution to your overall score is going to come from, will be through the application project, the one you're actually researching, doing the discussion questions, and the final exam. So that's where it's going to be paramount to stay on task, make sure that your teams are meeting and working very closely together to ensure that you have a high quality presentation. And we also posted here to Moodle here under week one, these two example presentations that you could refer to that may help you as you move forward developing yours. And again, I'm open and available to provide any assistance to you. Now, with that said, there's two more things I wanted to cover today. You have lecture number 3 quiz, which is coming up this in week number 2. And as you study that particular lecture, this particular quiz is it has probably 4 or 5 major themes associated with that. So one of the first themes that you'll see throughout the various slides, and let me use this as an example, is going to be talking about strategy. How strategy, what does it include? What is the strategic planning purposes? What's the strategy primarily consist of? Financial and competitive objectives, a type of strategy for achieving competitive advantage. What does that look like? Competence building strategies as well. What's a large cash cow and no ventures? And if a company has a large star or several ventures, what does that look like? So that the first section, and these are in no particular order as to how you will see those within the presentation, but it has a theme of strategy. The next theme from this particular quiz will do with the life cycle in the life cycle model. Pay attention to those things when it refers to the life cycle model. And as you are making your PowerPoint, printing out, when you hear those terms of strategy and life cycle, you may want to put a note off to the side that this is one of those themes of life cycle or one of those themes of strategy that may help you when you come back and do your quiz. Again, they're not going to be in any particular order. We didn't set the quizzes up. We're to say the first 3 or 4 will be in strategy. The next 4 or 5 will be in life cycle. That's not the way this quiz is set up. They're kind of intermingled in between the lectures. But again, the first 2 themes is strategy, life cycle. The next theme for lecture number 3 deals with the experience or learning curve. So be mindful of that. Then another theme is going to deal with goals, G-O-A-L-S, also including the BCG model or this matrix. Then the theme is also going to include integration. As you think about integration, directional policy matrix, the vertical, horizontal integration, backward and forward integration, tapered integration. And then I believe the final theme in this particular quiz deals with Porter's and Miller's research. So for this particular quiz, again, it really is broken up into several themes. Those themes being strategy, theme of life cycle, theme of experience curve, theme of goals, and mega opportunities. I believe I missed that one, the mega opportunity themes, the theme of integration, and Porter's and Miller's research theme. So that's kind of the themes that you can be looking for as you move forward taking lecture quiz number 3. And I believe this one has, let's see, how many questions does quiz number 3 have? It has 36 questions in this particular quiz as well. So pay good attention, listen for those key terms that we just discussed. Take good notes and study, study, study before you inject into the quiz. And looking at quiz number 1 and quiz number 2, I wanted to see if there was a correlation between the time that was allocated in the overall score. And I didn't see a very strong correlation. In fact, it was 0.2 if you do a correlation matrix. It was a 0.2 correlation, which indicates not a very strong relationship, meaning that it was all over the map. There were some people who completed the quiz in less than 20 minutes, and there were some who took the full allocation of the hour on quiz number 2. Quiz number 1, performance was much better. Quiz number 2, more in-depth, requiring you to integrate more of your knowledge. It's the reason why when you're taking these quizzes, please do not just study that particular lecture. Go back and review your other 2 lectures before you take the quiz number 3. That's kind of how they're designed. They're kind of built upon one another. So let's talk about test number 1. Test number 1, well, I think we have 3 tests, which are in Word documents that you're going to respond to the appropriate questions. You have the entire week. In week number 2, our first test opens up tonight after midnight or first thing Monday morning. So you have all week to respond to these questions. And I think there's 8 questions in this particular quiz. Let me show it to you. You will see this tomorrow. 7 questions. So this is where you're going to use the questions and respond to the questions. Then when you get your Word document like you want it, you're going to upload it into Turnitin. And as we have indicated already, we have Turnitin set up where you can load up as many versions of that as you want. We've got the start date and the post date the same date, and its final due date is on Sunday. So if you load up, let's say you load up tomorrow and you only got the first 2 questions done, but you wanted to see from a scholarly writing standpoint to verify that you don't have a lot of content that's direct copy and paste without appropriate citations, you can certainly load that up here, then continue on with your quiz and come back before Sunday and load up another version. So use Turnitin to your advantage, please. So let's talk about this particular test that's going to be open and available to you tomorrow. So as you think about the responding to these particular test questions, this is where you need to put some analysis to your responses. I'm not looking for what the textbook definition solely. I'm looking for the textbook definition if that's applicable, as well as how does it apply? What does it really mean to you? Obviously, if you can provide any examples that you see out of the textbook that's going to bolster your analysis, I would certainly tell you to use that. Typically, this first question, there's several criticisms that comes out of your textbook related to the traditional strategic planning process. Obviously, you're going to discuss what those are, but equally important, you want to make sure that you explain how you can avoid some of those based on what you have learned in this course to date. Number 2 deals with how is this particular strategy useful as an emergent process. Question number 3 is going to deal with the industry life cycle. Obviously, you're going to discuss what each life cycle is. And again, how can you explain the relevance of each one of those life cycles when it comes to the different cycle stages that you have learned in that particular section of the textbook. Then you're going to use Porter's 5 forces model to discuss the probability of the industry that your team is studying. Now, this is going to be your particular company. So all 4 teams, each member of that team should be focusing on that particular aspect of that question to determine how it's going to apply to your case. Now, again, not looking for a 10-page report in these responses, but this is a good starting point to get you thinking towards and aligning with your particular team, your particular company that you're studying. Then we're going to talk about I want you to talk about the 4 building blocks of competitive advantage and provide some tangible examples from the Starbucks case. And I believe if you were to read that Starbucks on page 21, page 113, and page 114, that probably will aid you in addressing this question. But equally important, I mean, you can certainly go out and find some relevant current information in relationship to Starbucks to help you address those, but you're going to be doing the 4 building blocks of competitive advantage. Then we're going to talk about Abel's model, which you saw in lecture number 1, and you can pick one of these companies. You can pick Deere, Monsanto, Syngenta, or Valmont. So you may need to go to their website and do a little bit of research to aid you in addressing this particular question. Then you're going to be talking about the economic, market, and technological competitive drivers that your team is studying, that industry that your team is studying. So here's 2 direct links back to your particular company that you are studying to try to help you, drive you, to aid you as you're making your team, pulling your material, doing your research for your team presentation. So you want to make sure that you look at that. So again, your test, you got 3 tests. We're only talking about test number 1. And we may do this again in subsequent weeks to see how well it works out for us. But it's not just a simple textbook definition that we're looking for. It's really about the integration of your knowledge, not only from the textbook material, but from your current research you've done to date, as well as the lectures 1, 2, and 3. So it truly is an integration of your knowledge. And as we indicated at the very beginning of our course, we're not doing case analysis, individual cases per week. We've kind of changed that to the standpoint where we're using the test to obviously integrate your knowledge, but equally important to do some of that case analysis work that should aid you directly in your individual cases. So that's what I want to discuss with you starting in week 2. Again, please invite me to your team meetings. I'll be glad to attend. Or if you have a question or need assistance, or you have something you would like for me to review, please don't hesitate to be in touch with me. And thank you so much.